Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Words of Ages. Today we are going to be talking about Thomas Jefferson and some of his ideas. Thomas Jefferson was an American statesman, diplomat, lawyer, architect, philosopher and founding father who served as the third president of the United States in the 1800s. He was previously the second vice president of the United States under John Adams and the first United States Secretary of State under George Washington. He's the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. Jefferson was a proponent of democracy, republicanism, and individual rights, motivating American colonists to break from the Kingdom of Great Britain and form a new nation. He produced formative documents and decisions at state, national, and international levels. During the American Revolution, Jefferson represented Virginia in the Continental Congress that adopted the Declaration of Independence. As a Virginia legislator, he drafted a state law for religious freedom. He served as the second governor of Virginia from 1779 to 1781 during the Revolutionary War. As a president, Jefferson pursued the nation's shipping and trade interests against Barbary pirates and aggressive British trade policies, and was primarily a plantation owner, mastered many disciplines ranging from surveying and mathematics to horticulture and mechanics. He was an architect in the classical tradition, and Jefferson's keen interest in religion and philosophy led to his presidency of the American Philosophical Society. He shunned organized religion but was influenced by Christianity, Epicureanism, and deism. Jefferson rejected fundamental Christianity, denying Christ's divinity. Jefferson knew several languages and he was a prolific letter writer and corresponded with many prominent people including Edward Carrington, John Taylor of Caroline, and James Madison. Among his books is Notes on the State of Virginia, considered perhaps the most important American book published before 1800. Jefferson championed the ideals, values, and teachings of the Enlightenment. Over the course of his life, Jefferson owned more than 600 slaves. Since Jefferson's time, controversy has revolved around his relationship with Sally Hemings, a mixed-race enslaved woman, and his late wife's half-sister. According to 1998 DNA testing of Jefferson's and Hemings' descendants, combined with documentary and statistical evidence and oral history, Jefferson fathered at least 6 children with Hemings, including 4 that survived to adulthood. Evidence suggests that Jefferson started the relationship with Hemings when they were in Paris, sometime after she arrived there at the age of 14 or 15, when Jefferson was 44. By the time she returned to the United States at 16 or 17, she was pregnant. Well, that's horrible. After retiring from public office, Jefferson founded the University of Virginia. He and John Adams both died on July 4, 1826, the 50th anniversary of US independence. Presidential scholars and historians generally praise Jefferson's public achievements, including his advocacy of religious freedom and tolerance in Virginia, his peace acquisition of the Louisiana Territory from France without war or controversy, and his ambitious and successful Lewis and Clark expedition. Some modern historians are critical of Jefferson's involvement with slavery. As am I, although I'm not a modern historian. Jefferson is consistently ranked in the top 10 presidents of American history, although no great man would have ever enslaved another human being, but that was the time. Now let's get into his quotes. How much we suffer because of what did not happen but could only happen. The honesty of people does not increase with their wealth. Never buy a thing seduced by its cheapness. Such a thing in the long run will cost you dearly. I do not take a single paper nor read one a month, and I feel infinitely happier for it. Do not bite at the bait of pleasure until you know there is no hook beneath it. Wow, he's one to talk. Honesty is the first chapter of the Book of Wisdom. The man who reads nothing at all is better educated than the man who reads nothing but newspapers. He clearly hated the press. The most valuable of all talents is that of never using two words when one will do. The most valuable of all talents is that of never using two words when one will do. How about the word no? I'm a great believer in luck, and I find the harder I work, the more I have of it. Do you want to know who you are? Don't ask. Some paradoxical, twisted logic this is. An action will de-alienate and define you. History in general only informs us what bad government is. Yeah, now that history is informing us of what kind of a bad government you might have created in the wake of slavery and having made coitus with your half-sister, and I mean, it's just gross. I hope you're burning in the depths of hell. If a nation expects to be ignorant and free in a state of civilization, it expects what never was and never will be. The whole art of government consists in the art of being honest. I would rather be exposed to the inconvenience attending too much liberty than to those attending too small a degree of it. I think one travels more usefully when they travel alone because they reflect more. I was bold in the pursuit of knowledge, never fearing to follow truth and reason to whatever results they lead. To compel a man to furnish funds for the propagation of ideas he disbelieves and abhors is sinful and tyrannical. Tyranny is defined as that which is legal for the government but illegal for the citizenry. I like the dream of the future better than the history of the past. When injustice becomes law, resistance becomes duty. Every day is lost in which we do not learn something useful. Man has no nobler or more valuable possession than time. Our liberty depends on the freedom of the press, and that cannot be limited without being lost. I hold it that a little rebellion now and then is a good thing and as necessary in the political world as storms in the physical. Banking institutions are more dangerous to our liberties than standing armies. Be polite to all, be intimate with few. The natural progression of things is for liberty to yield and for the government to gain ground. I prefer dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery. He who permits himself to tell a lie once finds it much easier to do it the second time. The only security of all is the free press, is in the free press. Oh, so he didn't hate the free press after all. I have no ambition to govern men. It is a painful and thankless office. It is error alone which needs the support of the government. Truth can stand by itself. Commerce with all nations, alliance with none should be our motto. An honest man can feel no pleasure in the exercise of power over his fellow citizens. Okay, pride costs us more than hunger, thirst and cold. The dead should not rule the living. An enemy generally says and believes what he wishes. It is reasonable that everyone who asks justice should do justice. He who knows best knows how little he knows. Don't try to do more good than people can handle. So, in the second robo, huh? People can handle. He who gives up his freedom for security, receives neither. Dissent is the highest form of patriotism. Saving on advertising is like stopping a clock to save time. I am convinced that the soul of every person rejoices when he does good to another. Don't spend money you don't have. If you are angry, mentally count to 10 before you speak. If you are very angry, count to 100. So that was it for Thomas Jefferson, a man I don't truly find honorable, but I hope you have something to take back from this episode. And if you like what you hear, like, share and subscribe and comment down below, and on to the next video.